Ben, we've got our competing umbrellas here sort of tangling above us. Right, you're no friend of the government. Your take on the budget?
Quite underwhelmed, actually. I was hoping that there might have been more decisive action and some measures to tackle the immediate cost of living crisis.
Really? Do opposition politicians really hope that?
I do, actually, because such is the severity of the crisis at the moment that I don't think society, let alone the economy, can afford this inaction. We've heard a lot of the government spin now saying that the retention of the energy price cap is a good thing that we should welcome. And yes, of course, it's welcome if you're on the mains gas grid. And let us not forget now that it just maintains prices at an already heightened level that many people are finding unaffordable. And if you represent an area, as I do, that has 74% of households not connected to the mains gas grid, this policy offers not a single penny of support for them. And so there's a little bit of disappointment on that front. But also, in terms of the longer term perspective, there's an opportunity here for the government to really set out some sort of an economic vision for the UK. Levelling up, where was that? Where was the bold sort of thinking in terms of renewable energy? In Wales, we've got a fantastic potential for offshore floating wind. The Welsh Affairs Select Committee, a cross-party committee, has made a lot of recommendations that would unlock a lot of that development and produce green, secure energy sources for the UK for the next 50 years. There was no mention of that in the statement today.
It's one of the unifying things in British politics is that the country does face a problem with growth, and people look and say that Britain is not growing as well as some of the Eurozone countries or the United States, other G7 countries. We haven't bounced back from the pandemic as they have. What do you think holds growth back?
I think you could probably break it down into two main issues. You've got a productivity problem when it comes to the productivity of labour, and then also the productivity of capital. And
why is that? I mean, is that just because in Britain we have more services rather than making stuff?
I don't think the government has first of all, it lacks a coherent plan. So let's just take the productivity of labour as an example. On the one hand, you have a Home Secretary that is insistent on reducing net migration, is also talking potentially of reducing the number of international students studying in UK universities. Whilst on the other hand, then you have the Treasury wishing that they could increase growth in the labour market and the productivity of it. So you have different departments of state competing in contradictory ways on this major issue. And I think it all stems because the government doesn't have a coherent plan of what it wants the economy to look like. Levelling up, although it wasn't implemented, at least offered some sort of outline of what they could do in terms of addressing this regional inequality. But that's now been cast asunder, it's been thrown overboard, and we have nothing left.